What up YouTube, we back with another YouTube video. This is something that happened really recently. There was a massive shooting in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and supposedly this guy was wearing some type of shirt, a la sweatshirt, and there's a lot of surfacing going around, and people talk about he might have been extreme Islamic, because supposedly the cops, when they searched his vehicle, they showed he had a Quran in his vehicle. So people saying it could be, people that Islam, things like that, or people that believe in Allah, things like that, is coming to, pretty much harming Americans and coming against Americans because of what's going on in Iran, I believe. And this is something that I saw on my Twitter. I wanted to share with y'all that was not aware. And yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Like, this is insane right here. Saying there's 3 US troops. And yeah, you better check it out and see what's going on. I didn't think too much into it. I just saw a couple things on Twitter. But you better check out this video together. Don't forget to like, comment down below what y'all think about this. Your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't already. And you better check the video out. See what they're talking about.
I have some breaking news. I want to bring this in now. I've been telling everybody about the Austin mass shooter, and now we have a picture. And this is what we're finding out. Per multiple federal law enforcement sources to our own Bill Melugin, the Austin mass shooter is a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal and was living in Pflugerville, Texas. Material recovered from his person and inside the vehicle give possible indications of a nexus to terrorism, as the FBI announced earlier today. And remember what we said he had in his possession and was also wearing. The shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it. His sweater said property of Allah. And there's...
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Like, what are the chances of sort of saying property of Allah? Like, bro, this is insane, bro. Like, you're shooting innocent people and then dying for what? I mean, bro, this stuff is crazy.
There's also known to be an undershirt with an Iranian flag and other materials inside. And remember what Representative Michael McCaul of Texas just told me last hour. He said, Harris, in my own backyard, just last night, we had an event that possibly could have been terror-inspired right here in Austin, Texas. This is what he was talking about. Brett, I was reminding Americans this is not a new place for us to be in terms of keeping our heads on a swivel. But it bears repeating, we've lost Americans in the fight on the battlefield, and protecting the homeland now is also something that we must be on the alert. Now, authorities have not tied this Austin situation to what's happening in the Middle East as terror related to that, but they are investigating it just moments ago, confirming as a possible terror attack. Your reaction?
Well, we have to remain vigilant. I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is, this isn't a representation of how most people from that region feel. The Iranian people, they fear their own rulers more than our own military. They hate, their own oppressive rulers than anyone else. And we may see more attacks.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed too about when they took out the leader of Iran. I noticed most people was cheerful about it. Who was happy about it because his type of regime, and he was killing his own people because of not wearing the clothings and things called hijab, things like that. Like, the women has to cover themselves up, and supposedly the women start getting tired of that, and supposedly if they like take out those type of clothes or wear something they want to wear, they get killed for it. They get abused, things like that. So it was very tragic things going on over there. And yeah, they didn't like the dude. So it was actually cheerful that Donald Trump did that, which got me I was a little surprised about that. I thought it would be like the opposite. But supposedly there was begging Trump to take him out because, his corruption. So
like this, we have to be vigilant. There are proxy groups everywhere that are looking for ways to harm Americans and hurt Americans. And but the fact of the matter is, overall, there are images right now showing most Iranians and most Shias celebrating today, not because of war, but because they hate their own rulers more than anyone else. That's a sign that we're striking, not just at their military, we're striking at the legitimacy of a brutal regime. The Iranian people want better relationships with the West. They have the potential to be our biggest ally. I think it's important we collectively separate the terrorist regime from that of the majority Iranian people. These people have spent decades, trying to hurt us. And so the fact is, again, we just need to remain vigilant in the wake of these strikes.
Look, I don't want to make too much out of this because the FBI and federal authorities have to do their jobs and tell us what the facts are with this particular case. But you are looking at on your screen right now the man that they suspect to be the Austin, Texas shooter. And he is 53 years old. And I don't know if you had seen this as well.
53.
There were all sorts of descriptions about age, but now we know some specificity. He's 53-year-old American citizen, naturalized, originally from Senegal. He is wearing a sweater, and you can see here a sweater that says "Property of Allah," with an undershirt and the Iranian flag. I want to ask you about this. We had a tremendous amount of people come across the border, and I can't ignore this because this is just fact, Brett. There are a lot of people in this country, we don't know if they're being radicalized. Maybe some came in and they participated in that or led the way or have become something different while they're here. But it matters letting millions of people come in and you have no way to vet them. And that's what happened under the Biden administration. We're catching up, but a lot of those people are still here. Your thoughts?
Well, with that, as well as what's going on overseas, there's been a seismic shift in global security, right? That regime over there in Iran.
That's one thing too with the Biden administration. He let so much people in, millions and millions of people in. Like terrorists, people that's murderers, people that have been in jail already. Rapists, killers, pedophiles. Does not matter, bro. He was letting everybody in the country. You let everybody inside the country, that destroys the country. Destroys it. And what makes a country, what makes it like good, sustainable is having borders, having restrictions, having laws in place, things like that. So it makes the country stay together. To make the country strong. And for Joe Biden to just let everybody in, not working the border, things like that, it was just a free for all. And I feel like that was very detrimental to the country. And I feel like now we're getting the effects of that. We're getting the effects of it. Because reason being, because Donald Trump obviously secured the border now. So the border is secured. And now these people are roaming around within our own country, doing terrorist attacks, killing innocent Americans, things like that. So we're getting the effects of the last administration, what they did. Now leading up to right now, we're getting the effects of it. So I feel like this guy, it could be type associated, or it could be probably was inferior what was going on in Iran, things like that. He probably just want to get payback. I was just very angry, and obviously wasn't thinking straight, because he literally just, it was like a suicide mission. He killed a couple people and then he died after. He had no rational thinking, no logic thinking, and he obviously didn't care about his own life, and he wouldn't did that moves and did what he did. So this is definitely some type of terrorist attack, and I feel like he definitely had hopefully not, God forbid, there won't be no other attacks, or probably be other attacks happening. So I encourage y'all to be safe out there. If you're going to clubs or you're going out to different places, be safe, be vigilant, because the war is still going on. And I feel like the more the war is going on, the more probably different terror attacks is going to happen. It's probably they could probably come from the other Americans, things like that supports Allah and that supports the Quran, things like that. And, because not all of them are like that. That radical to kill Americans, but definitely seen the effects of the last administration and a lot of people in that don't really like the country at all. They don't like Americans. And we're seeing the effect right now in real time. It's pretty crazy.
is fragile after decades of corruption. That border for years was a perfect place for the Iranian regime to send some of their proxy groups undetected. I don't know if you remember years ago, we almost had an attack in DC where Iranians were sent in to try and kill the Saudi ambassador at the time. There are humans out there that want to hurt us. And right now there is a complete structural shock to the Iranian regime and their way of life. Their internal system is highly centralized around this supreme leader, and that religious leader is gone. I think that was one of the reasons that President Trump initially had maybe held off the Israelis striking Khamenei, because he was such a religious figure. But that's changed now. We've removed that node, and it's created this uncertainty inside the clerical establishment across the proxy networks globally, and we need to just pay attention for more attacks like this.
Yeah.
Velikovich, thank you for your response too on those Americans.
Interesting. You can watch this video of Alex Jones. He's talking about it. Breaking the last night's Austin, Texas mass shooting has been confirmed to be a targeted terror attack against American civilians. The Muslim terrorist was a 53-year-old West African migrant. The Islamic Nation of Senegal. Before the attack in Austin, I predict that we would see shift sleeper cells activate in Texas in the coming days.
I've had 99% confirmation of this since this morning, but I wanted it to be triple confirmed. The man from Senegal, Africa, that's 97% Muslim, who is a Muslim, who became a U.S. citizen, who lived here in Austin, Texas, went out with a sweatshirt saying "Property of Allah," and then camo pants, and went to a popular nightclub area and shot up a bunch of people, killing 3, wounding at least 15, some in critical condition. And as soon as I noticed this morning that it wasn't a big story, I said automatically, I thought, oh, well, it'll be a black guy and or a Muslim, because whenever a mass shooting is shut down, you know that's it. Even if it's in Europe, it's the same rule. And so I started making some phone calls and confirmed from my law enforcement sources, media sources, my military sources, FBI source here in Austin, that indeed that's the case. And I've then talked to some journalists, and I'll leave it at that, that have talked to the FBI and others, not just the Quran in his car, but what was on his social media before they scrubbed it, and more that's been found. He was specifically pissed off about the Ayatollah Khamenei being killed and being announced yesterday.
I figured.
And so he suited up.
I figured, because then he would get obviously enraged and want to take it on Americans. I figured he was upset about what happened.
And went out to kill infidels. That's why his country's 97% Muslim. 500 years ago, it wasn't. They let some Muslims in. Over time, Iran used to have no Muslims. They let a couple thousand in. It's run by them. Now, there's 2 types of countries that have been taken over by Islam, and those they're trying to take over. So I had Baran Morello on yesterday during the Saturday show I did, and I talked about how I looked at demographics. Texas has some of the biggest Shiite populations in the country. That's the 20% sect of Islam that Iran basically runs, the Council of 12. And their main concentration, pretty much of anywhere in the U.S., is Texas. Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, you name it. And I said on air, I believe you're going to have terror attacks. I believe you're going to have sleeper cells activated, or just lone wolves that are pissed off in the next few weeks. And I'll have that clip on my show today that's coming up in about 1 hour at Real Alex Jones on X, and of course on Rumble, the Alex Jones show. My regular Sunday show, 4 to 8 p.m. is about to kick off. We'll have all this and a lot more straight ahead. And you also have these Shiites attacking U.S. embassies and stuff around the world. We'll get to that and the latest developments on the attack on Iran. But we'll have more on the attack on Austin as well. So be sure to watch the space. Real Alex Jones on X. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's insane, chat. Let me know what your thoughts about that. Yeah, I feel like obviously when the war keeps happening, things like that, it's gonna be, like he said on the video, it's gonna be other lone wolves. It's gonna take it out on Americans. It's gonna take it out other Americans that have nothing to do with what's going on. And as I said, like over there in Texas, y'all guys be safe out there. Be cautious. Don't go out to any clubs. Don't go out anywhere that's very, public. Events, things like that, because it's gonna get more hectic before it gets good. And You know, it says that in the word. You know, it's gonna be a lot of chaos, last days, a lot of confusion, and you know, people just become cold-hearted. You know, hearts have been hardened, and to be very vigilant, and to know that we just gotta pray for these people. We gotta pray for these people. We gotta pray for this nation. We gotta pray for this upcoming days, months, years that, you know, it'll be very catastrophic. And yeah, it's just stuff we gotta be aware of. And yeah, let me know what y'all thoughts about this down in the comments. It's pretty crazy. I saw this earlier on Twitter, like in the morning, and I want to touch on it. I want to know your thoughts about this, what's going on, because this is stuff people gotta be aware of and know that, you know, they're not holding back, and there's people out there that's just gonna shoot you for no reason, just for being American. So definitely be safe out there. Appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.